Imagine this. You walk into a room and there's someone across the space who catches your eye. You're not sure if they're interested in you, but something about their body language makes you wonder. Are they flirting? Or is it just friendliness? How do you tell the difference between subtle signals of attraction and simple politeness? By the end of this video, you will understand the hidden language of flirting, signals that most people overlook but can make all the difference in your interactions. And trust me, the last insight will completely change how you see attraction forever. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to Female Red Pill, hit the like button and leave a comment if you've ever been in a situation where you weren't sure whether someone was flirting with you or not. This is your chance to master the art of reading attraction cues, and I promise that by the end of this video, you'll see social interactions in a whole new light. Flirting is an ancient and deeply ingrained aspect of human nature. It's been studied by evolutionary psychologists, sociologists, and behavioral scientists alike. While many people assume flirting is always overt and obvious, the truth is that the most powerful signs of attraction are often the subtlest. These signals are hardwired into human interaction and have existed for thousands of years. Some of the most renowned authors in the field of attraction and behavioral psychology, like David Buss, Robert Greene, and Esther Perel, have explored these topics in depth, revealing how social dynamics shape attraction and mate selection. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that words are the main tool of flirting. In reality, body language, eye contact, and vocal tone are far more telling than anything a person says. According to studies on nonverbal communication, over 70% of human interaction is conveyed through body language alone. This means that if you're only paying attention to what someone says, you're missing most of the conversation happening beneath the surface. Let's start with the first and most basic signal of flirting: prolonged eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most primal ways humans communicate attraction. If someone holds your gaze longer than usual or repeatedly looks at you and then looks away, they are likely interested. According to research in social psychology, when someone is attracted to you, their pupils naturally dilate, and they subconsciously try to prolong visual connection. This is an instinctive response, one that happens regardless of whether the person is aware of it or not. But here's where it gets interesting. It's not just about holding eye contact, it's about the sequence. If you catch someone looking at you multiple times or you notice them scanning the room and then locking eyes with you again, they are likely checking to see if you're interested too. This phenomenon is often referred to as the triangle gaze, when someone looks from your eyes to your lips and back again. This pattern is a subconscious way of signaling romantic interest, a cue that can be traced back to ancient courtship rituals. However, eye contact alone isn't enough. Another critical indicator of flirting is body orientation. Pay attention to how a person positions their body in relation to you. If they turn their body fully toward you, with their feet pointing in your direction, it's a sign of interest. On the other hand, if their body remains angled away or they frequently shift their posture to face elsewhere, they may not be as engaged as you think. In his book, The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene explains how body positioning is a crucial component of seduction. He describes how skilled seducers use their posture and physical presence to create intrigue and attraction. This aligns with what behavioral studies suggest. People naturally orient themselves toward what they find interesting or desirable. Another powerful but often overlooked flirting signal is mirroring. When someone is attracted to you, they will subconsciously mimic your body movements, speech patterns, or even breathing rhythm. This is known as the chameleon effect, a phenomenon well documented in psychological research. If you cross your arms and they do the same shortly after, or if you take a sip of your drink and they instinctively follow, it's a sign of subconscious rapport and attraction. But here's something even more fascinating. Mirroring isn't just about body movement. It also extends to vocal tone and speech patterns. Have you ever noticed that when two people are deeply engaged in conversation, their voices start to match in pace and rhythm? This synchronization is a powerful indicator of connection and attraction, something that happens naturally when two people are vibing on the same wavelength. Attraction is not just about signals, it's about timing and response. If you've ever been in a situation where you weren't sure whether someone was flirting with you, consider this. Attraction is often a game of reciprocity. If someone is sending you signals, how you respond will determine whether the interaction progresses or fades away. Now let's move on to even more advanced signs of flirting that most people completely overlook. If you're enjoying this breakdown so far, Make sure to stay until the end because what I'm about to reveal next will change the way you understand attraction forever. Another powerful yet subtle sign of flirting is touch. Human beings are wired for physical connection, and even the smallest touch can speak volumes about attraction. The key here is to recognize the difference between casual, platonic touch and intentional, flirtatious touch. In studies on nonverbal communication, researchers have found that people who are attracted to someone often find excuses to touch them in light, seemingly accidental ways. For example, a brief touch on the arm during a conversation, brushing hands when reaching for something, or playfully nudging someone can all indicate interest. But what's even more telling is the way the person reacts after the touch. If they lean in, reciprocate, or seem comfortable with the physical contact, it's a sign that they are engaged and possibly interested. On the other hand, if they pull away or tense up, they may not feel the same level of attraction. One of the most interesting aspects of touch is that it creates a physiological response. When two people are physically attracted to each other, even the slightest touch can trigger the release of dopamine and oxytocin, chemicals associated with pleasure and bonding. This is why touch is such a powerful tool in flirting. It literally creates a biological response that enhances feelings of attraction. Another often overlooked flirting signal is playful teasing and banter. While some people assume that teasing is just a form of humor, in many cases it's actually a way of testing attraction and creating tension. Evolutionary psychologists, including David Buss in his book The Evolution of Desire, explain that teasing can serve as a way to gauge someone's interest, confidence, and ability to handle social dynamics. A well-placed, light-hearted tease can create an emotional spark that builds attraction by adding an element of challenge. However, there's a fine line between playful teasing and outright insults. The key is to keep the teasing light, fun, and accompanied by positive body language. If someone teases you but then follows up with a warm smile, laughter, or a reassuring touch, it's a good sign that they're flirting rather than being mean-spirited. One of the most fascinating aspects of flirting is voice modulation. Have you ever noticed that when someone is attracted to another person, their voice changes? Studies on vocal attraction have shown that both men and women alter their voices when speaking to someone they find attractive. Women tend to use a softer, higher-pitched tone, while men often lower their voices to sound more confident and dominant. This shift happens on a subconscious level and is a biological response designed to enhance attractiveness. Beyond voice pitch, there's also the element of laughter. If someone frequently laughs at your jokes, even the ones that aren't particularly funny, it's a sign of attraction. Laughter is one of the most effective ways to create emotional connection and build rapport. It lowers social barriers and makes interactions feel more effortless. Researchers in social psychology have found that people who laugh together are more likely to feel a sense of bonding and intimacy. But here's something even more intriguing: the concept of open loops in conversation. This is a technique often used in storytelling, but it's also a natural part of flirtation. When someone is interested in you, they'll often leave conversations open-ended, creating a reason to continue talking to you later. For example, they might say something like, "I'll tell you the rest of the story next time," or "Remind me to tell you about that crazy thing that happened last week." These small cues create a sense of anticipation and subtly encourage future interaction. Flirting isn't just about body language and words, it's also about energy. One of the most important signs that someone is interested in you is their level of engagement. Do they make an effort to keep the conversation going? Do they ask follow-up questions and seem genuinely curious about what you're saying? Do they find reasons to be around you even when there's no practical reason for it? These are all signs of subconscious attraction. A great example of this can be found in the work of Esther Perel, one of the leading voices in modern relationship psychology. In her book Mating in Captivity, she explores the idea that attraction is often fueled by mystery, curiosity, and playfulness. People who flirt effectively understand that it's not just about expressing interest. It's about creating a dynamic where there is a sense of excitement and discovery. Now let's take a step deeper and uncover some of the rarest yet most powerful flirting signals that almost no one notices. But once you recognize them, you'll never miss them again. One of the rarest but most powerful signs of flirting is preening behavior. Subconscious actions that people take to make themselves look more attractive in the presence of someone they're interested in. These small, seemingly insignificant gestures are actually deeply ingrained in human psychology and date back to our evolutionary past. For women, Preening often includes touching their hair, adjusting their clothing, subtly tilting their head to expose their neck, or playing with jewelry. These behaviors are designed to draw attention to feminine features and signal openness. Men, on the other hand, may straighten their posture, roll their shoulders back to appear broader, adjust their watch or tie, or subtly flex their muscles. These actions communicate confidence and dominance, traits that are often associated with high social value. Psychologists studying attraction have found that these behaviors happen automatically. In fact, people are often completely unaware that they're doing them. That's what makes preening such a powerful indicator of flirting, because it bypasses conscious control. Another overlooked yet highly telling sign of attraction is proximity and space invasion. The closer someone stands or sits next to you, the more comfortable they feel around you. If a person is frequently finding ways to be near you, even when there is plenty of space available, it's a clear indicator of interest. The science behind this is rooted in proxemics, the study of personal space. In his research, anthropologist Edward Hall identified different zones of personal space: public, social, personal, and intimate. Strangers tend to maintain a social distance, but when someone is attracted to you, they naturally try to enter your personal space, which is typically reserved for close friends, family, or romantic interests. If they move into your intimate space, which is within arm's reach, this is a very strong sign of attraction. However, the key is to notice whether they test boundaries, for example, leaning in slightly to see how you react. If you reciprocate by leaning in as well, the tension builds. If you lean away, they might take it as a signal to back off. This is why flirting is often described as a dance, a subtle push and pull where both people gauge the other's level of interest. One of the most underrated yet extremely effective signs of flirting is the power of delayed responses. Have you ever noticed that when someone is really interested in a conversation, they take an extra second before responding? This delay, no matter how brief, is often an indication that they are fully engaged, not just thinking about what to say next, but actually processing your words on a deeper level. A delayed response can also be used as a tool. People who are skilled at flirting will sometimes pause before answering, maintaining eye contact for just a second longer than usual. This creates a small moment of tension, which heightens attraction. It's a psychological trick that makes the interaction feel more intense and meaningful. Another powerful but subtle flirting cue is exclusivity in conversation. If someone in a group setting consistently directs their attention toward you, whether through eye contact, body orientation, or directly engaging you in conversation, it's a strong sign that you're the person they're most interested in. This is backed by social psychology research on selective attention. When we are attracted to someone, we naturally focus more on them, even when there are multiple people around. This is why, in a group setting, you might notice someone frequently checking to see your reaction when they tell a joke, or looking at you first when responding to a question. These small but intentional actions reveal deeper interest. Now let's take this even further. What if I told you that the strongest and most undeniable sign of attraction is something most people completely ignore? In the final part of this video, we'll reveal the ultimate signal of flirting, the one that is so powerful. Once you recognize it, you'll never misinterpret attraction again. The ultimate sign of flirting, the one that is so powerful it overrides all others, is emotional investment. While body language, eye contact, and touch are all important, the strongest indicator of true attraction is how much effort someone puts into their interactions with you. Emotional investment is revealed in many subtle ways. Does the person remember small details about you? Things you barely recall mentioning? Do they bring up past conversations as if they were mentally keeping track of what matters to you? Do they make an effort to extend the conversation, even when there's no practical reason to do so? These are all signs that they are engaged on a deeper level. One of the most overlooked cues of attraction is consistency in attention. Many people assume flirting is all about grand gestures or obvious compliments, but real attraction is often shown through ongoing effort. If someone consistently makes an effort to be around you, respond to your messages quickly, or initiate conversations, it's a strong indicator that they see you as more than just a casual acquaintance. But here's where it gets even more interesting: micro-expressions and emotional mirroring. According to Paul Ekman, one of the world's leading experts on facial expressions and human emotion, people unconsciously mirror the facial expressions of those they are emotionally connected to. If you smile, and the other person immediately smiles back, even in a subtle way, it's a clear sign that they feel a connection. This emotional mirroring also happens in moments of tension or excitement. If you express frustration about something and they mirror your concern, or if you share a victory and they light up with enthusiasm, it means they are emotionally synchronized with you. This is one of the strongest signals of deep attraction because it shows that the person is not just physically drawn to you, but also emotionally attuned to your feelings. Now here's where everything comes together. Flirting is not just about attraction, it's about creating an emotional experience. People don't just remember what you said or did, they remember how you made them feel. The most effective flirts are not necessarily the most attractive or charismatic. They are the ones who create an emotional imprint on others. And this is where the biggest mistake happens. Most people assume attraction is a passive process, that it just happens naturally. But in reality, flirting is a skill. It's something that can be learned, improved, and mastered. Those who understand the subtle psychology of attraction can recognize these signals instantly, while those who are unaware often miss them completely. Now let's put this into perspective. Think back to a time when you weren't sure if someone was interested in you. Were they making eye contact? Did they subtly mirror your actions? Did they initiate physical touch in small but meaningful ways? Did they make an effort to keep the conversation going? Were they emotionally engaged in your words? If you start looking at interactions through this lens, you'll never be confused about flirting again. So, now it's your turn. Have you ever experienced any of these flirting signals? Have you ever missed one only to realize later that someone was actually interested in you? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video insightful, make sure to subscribe to Female Red Pill, hit the like button, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. If you want to dive even deeper into the psychology of attraction and social dynamics, check out these 2 videos on the screen right now. They will completely change the way you see relationships and human behavior. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.